It was just before dawn when a member of the cleaning staff noticed her, an unusually small figure on a cold metal bench in the cavernous expanse of Paris's Gare du Nord train station. Her feet dangled above the floor, unable to reach the ground. Next to her was a pink backpack, neatly zipped and almost brand new. She couldn't have been more than 4 years old. Her hair was split into 2 tidy pigtails, and her brown eyes were fixed forward, unblinking, as if she were watching something only she could see. That early morning, the station was quieter than usual. A handful of commuters, the sleep-dulled buzz of departure announcements, the odd echo of suitcase wheels clicking over tiled floors. The employee who walked towards her thought perhaps she had wandered away from her parents, maybe distracted by a colorful advertisement or a toy. It wasn't rare, after all, for a child to be briefly separated in such a busy place. He crouched beside her and asked gently in French if she was lost. But she didn't reply. She simply extended her hand, a scrap of paper caught in her fingers. The note was brief and haunting. 8 words, inked in a rushed, shaky hand on torn notebook paper. Please take care of her. She cannot go back. No her name, no contact information, not even a suggestion as to where she had come from or who should care for her next. As the staff member read the words, he felt a shiver run down his spine. The girl sat with a perfect composure, not crying, not panicked, just waiting, as if she had been promised that waiting patiently would bring help. She didn't volunteer her name, nor did she seem to remember it when asked. Only later, in the small front pocket of her backpack, was there a crayon drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands beneath a palm tree, a house, and a car. Carefully printed at the bottom was a name, Lena. With no parents in sight and no clues, authorities stepped in. Lena was placed with a foster family in Paris. For weeks, she spoke barely at all. And when she did, her words came out in clear, hesitant Spanish. Social workers realized swiftly that she wasn't French. She was a stranger twice over, both to the city and to the country. She carried no identification. There were no scars, no signs of mistreatment, only silence, except in the dead of night, when she would wake screaming from nightmares, calling out a name that no one understood. Maeli, or it might have been Marela. One night, her foster mother discovered her in the hallway, trembling, clutching her pajamas, whispering over and over, "I didn't want her to go." Each time they asked about her memories, she would freeze, her gaze unfocused, and her tiny hands knotting in her lap. Time began its slow work. Lena moved from childhood's voicelessness into cautious words, responding with single phrases in Spanish, then picking up basic French from the other children at school. She ate better, she played. The nightmares eased, but never left. When her classmates asked about her family, she would turn away, her eyes searching for something far beyond the playground fence. One day, a teacher rifling through her art folder noticed a curious thing. Again and again, Lena had drawn the same red house, always tall, with a palm tree beside it, a bright yellow car parked in front. Every time, a woman with long dark hair stood in the window. Her tiny drawn mouth turned sadly down. Sometimes, a small figure stood at the door. Always, the sky was blue, brilliant, painted with bold streaks of color. The teacher brought these drawings to the school psychologist. Through gentle, patient games and activities that didn't require talking, hand puppets, building blocks, they slowly mapped out parts of Lena's memory. She described living in a warm place, where the air tasted of salt and flowers, and palm trees cast long shadows across the yard. The red house was real, she insisted, and the woman with the sad eyes was someone she missed so much that her heart ached. To her, the sun always shone around that house, but everything else was clouded in a kind of fog, the way it feels to wake from a dream, remembering only flashes. The question haunted everybody who heard her story. How could a 4-year-old have ended up alone on a Parisian train station bench, clutching a note and nothing else? Months stretched into years. Lena, now 6, learned to live with her in-between identity, not French enough to blend in, no longer fluent in the Spanish she had known, chased by dreams that put her in 2 worlds at once. Then, a miracle or fate intervened. Sitting quietly in a dentist's office, she picked up a travel magazine to pass the time while she waited for her appointment. Suddenly, Lena froze, her finger pressed to a grainy photograph. The image showed a street in Cartagena, Colombia, its walls drenched in color, palm trees arched over the sidewalks, painted houses lining a cobbled lane. One house leapt from the page, tall and red, a palm tree beside it, a yellow car out front. It matched her drawings in every detail. She traced it with her finger. Home, she breathed, not in French or Spanish, but in the language of memory. From that moment, a search that had been directionless finally had a starting point. Authorities reached out to Colombian officials, scouring missing child reports from the region. They looked for a lost Lena, but no records matched. Someone suggested that Lena might not be her real name, just a word she'd remembered, or perhaps someone else's name entirely. The investigation widened. They described her, the red house, the palm tree, the sad-eyed mother, to anyone who might help. Weeks later, a reply arrived from Colombia. A woman named Mariana had reported her 4-year-old daughter missing nearly 3 years before. Abducted during a court-mandated visit with the child's father, Amelia had vanished. Mariana searched everywhere, even crossing into Panama. But her ex-husband had disappeared, and every trace of Amelia went cold. The lost girl was not, after all, Lena. Her name was Amelia. Authorities arranged a careful video call. Mariana stared at the stranger on the screen, searching her daughter's face for certainty. But the braids, the solemn eyes, even the guarded set of her jaw were unmistakable. She whispered, "Amelia." Her daughter's eyes widened, and in a voice that quivered but rang with recognition, Amelia answered, "Mama." The reunion was immediate and absolute, bound by language and love, and the recognition that cuts through years and continents. Later, DNA confirmed what hearts already knew. Lena was Amelia, and Mariana was her mother. There remained one last thread. How had Amelia become lost, dislocated across an ocean? Investigators traced the father's path. Flight records, passport stamps. He'd gone from Colombia to Spain, then slipped quietly into France. A hotel worker remembered seeing him with a bewildered, silent girl, giving instructions with an urgency that made her uneasy. Days later, he too disappeared. Whether out of desperation, confusion, or fear, he'd taken Amelia to Gare du Nord, left her with a note, and vanished. There was nothing more, no letters, no phone calls, no attempt to reclaim her. In Paris, Mariana arrived at the airport for the reunion. She fell to her knees, arms open, and after a long moment of hesitation, years of uncertainty caught in a breath, Amelia launched herself forward, gripping her mother so tightly, it was as if she thought letting go might unravel the whole world again. "I waited," she whispered. Back home in Colombia, Amelia started the long journey of returning to herself. Spanish came back, word by word. She learned once more how to say abuela and primos and mama. She decorated her new room with drawings. Still the red house, the palm tree, the yellow car. But now the woman in the window smiled, and at the open door was a little girl waving hello. Time didn't heal everything. Nightmares returned, sometimes fierce, sometimes gentle as a memory. She never fully understood her father's choices. Was it fear, anger, love, warped into something else? But she found strength in the certainty that what had been lost could return, that you could wait, patient as sunlight at an empty window, and someone somewhere would remember to call you home. In a world where so many stories end in heartbreak or ambiguity, Amelia's became something else, a testament to chance and kindness, to the persistence of a mother's search, to the resilience of a child's hope. In the silent corners of a train station, love found a way to remember, a whisper in the dark, becoming a name, a country, a family, and a future. After all the years, after all the miles, Amelia stepped again through the door of a red house. She looked up at the palm tree, at the yellow car, and finally, at the smiling face she had drawn so often from memory. She was home, and this time, she knew who she was.